my name is Nancy Albertson. I'm here at BATV Studios with Yakov Trek Reef. Well, Trek is your trail name, correct?
That's right.
Yeah. And today we're going to be talking about his journey on the Appalachian Trail. How are you doing, Yakov?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for inviting me in.
No, thank you for coming in. I'm really excited to talk to you about this. I kind of followed you on Facebook. If for those of you that don't know, Yakov was giving everyone updates through Facebook. And is there anywhere else that you were updating?
I also had a blog that people can still check out. You can find it through my Facebook page or trekreef.com.
Trekreef.com. So I wanted to ask you some questions about your hike. I mean, I did follow you and I did check out mostly Facebook because we're friends on Facebook. We're close, we're tight, right?
Homies.
We're homies. But I did have questions. How long did this take you?
Forever.
Forever.
At least it felt like forever. I mean, some days it felt like forever. There were some days when it just went by really fast. Once you start getting into the rhythm of things, it's hard not for 18 or 20-mile days to go by really quickly. But sometimes they're very short. It took me 8 months, though.
8 months, that's a long time. So with that being said, what would possess you to do such a thing? I mean, I would never dream of spending 8 months I mean, I like the wilderness, but not that much.
Yeah.
So what possesses someone like yourself to do such a thing?
I've always loved the woods. Growing up here in Billerica, where most people don't probably know, there are 3 state parks in town.
Oh.
There are half a dozen or more town forests. There's even a national wildlife refuge in Billerica.
Really?
Yeah, right on the Concord River, which used to be called Musketequid. It's a love of being outside. I always felt like being outside I could be whoever I wanted to be, who I really was inside. And communing in nature was always important to me. Growing up, I used to ask my dad questions like, do you believe in God? And how come you don't go to any religious worship services with us? And he would say things like, I find God in the woods. And I think that sort of set me up as a kid for finding a sort of spiritual base in the forest. So what possessed me? Well, it was a challenge. I'd always wanted to do it. I grew up backpacking and being outside. And I mean, why the heck not? If you already have that kind of love for the trail. I did meet people on the trail who did it on a whim. There's a very famous person in 1955.
Okay.
Grandma Gatewood. That was her trail name, Emma Gatewood. She was 67 years old. She's one of my heroes. She became the first female solo thru hiker at 67 years old. She did it 2 more times after that. And when she was asked by National Geographic and by Sports Illustrated why she did it, she said, I thought it would be a lark. She did keep trail journal, and a lot of people on the trail keep a trail journal.
No, was that published?
Some of the excerpts were published. There was a man, last name Montgomery, I think it was Ben Montgomery, wrote a biographical piece on her life and its connection to the trail called Grandma Gatewood's Walk. It's a really great book.
Obviously, you have so much experience now after being on the trail, and you probably did a lot of prep. What kind of things prepped you for going on this trek?
Believe it or not, none of my previous backpacking experiences prepared me for this. I thought, I'm a backpacker, I know the basics, I know what I need to do in order to backpack. And truth be told, backpacking long distance for a very long period of time is psychologically and physically way more exhausting than even just a 2-week backpacking trip. On the other hand, when I'm going on a 2-week backpacking trip, I used to just pack 2 weeks worth of food or maybe a week's worth of food, a lot of stuff, and say, I'm just gonna go out and do it. On the trail, when you're doing long distance, you're sort of making it they're sort of like 3 or 4 day backpacking trips, all strung together for 8 months.
Oh,
because
goodness.
because you don't want to carry that much food when you're trying to get 20 miles a day. When I'm doing 2 weeks, I'm looking to do 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 miles a day because I'm trying to enjoy being out there. There was times when I enjoyed being out there, but there are also times when I really hated it. So some of the prep for that actually came by trial by fire. It was, there was a book I read called Appalachian Trials, which does sort of prepare you for the psychological impact, though I kind of took it with a grain of salt and thought, well, this was his experience. And actually it turns out it's most of our experience, that halfway through the day, when your blood sugar is low and you haven't eaten enough snacks and you're not drinking enough water and you're not realizing it yet, you get really angry with yourself and you get angry with everyone else and you start kicking rocks and you start cursing trees and then you realize the trees don't really care what's happening. They're just kind of looking at you and just, shaking their leaves.
I'm
like,
getting an
whatever.
awesome mental picture of that right now, of you cursing at trees and kicking rocks.
I have some stories.
Well, we would love to hear about it. So you're backpacking for like 4 or 5 day stretches to keep your bags light, but you're spending 8 months on, how are you able to accomplish that? Like, where were you stopping? Because I'm thinking that
It's a great question.
you're in the wilderness. Where are there places to stop? Who are you running into? How are you getting supplies when you're only planning 4 or 5 days out?
So the entire Appalachian Trail corridor, for the most part, you're almost never in an area where you are more than 5, 6, 10 miles away from a trail town.
Okay.
And because the Appalachian Trail runs up, over, and around the crest of the Appalachian Mountains, it means you're going to cross a lot of the east-west roads that run through the mountains. So a good example. Oh, and also there are businesses that have set up on the trail that have been there for years, that were there sort of as a trail stop. A good example of that is you start at Amicalola Falls in Georgia.
Okay.
And, well, some people don't. Some people actually will drive the U.S. Forest Service Road to the top. Losers. But the rest of us who actually care will do the 8.5 mile approach trail, which, I mean, come on, it's an approach trail. How else do you get to the top of a mountain? Back in the old days, you didn't get driven to the top of a mountain.
That's very true.
So everyone else is fine. I have nothing against those people, sorta. But you get up there and you hike about 30-ish miles before you hit civilization. And that doesn't mean that there aren't side trails that will take you to civilization that you may cross. But your first true civilized area is called Neal's Gap. And when you get in there, there's this old place called Mountain Crossings. They have a hostel there. The hostel's been around for decades. I don't remember when they started. But their entire business model is based on helping through hikers on the Appalachian Trail.
Oh, okay.
So
Wow.
you get a bunk there. Church groups will show up, especially at the beginning of the season, with food, chicken, barbecue, you name it. Even veggie burgers.
Oh, wow.
And
So they're feeding
they're
you.
feeding
They're
you.
taking
They'll
care
do
of you.
hiker feeds, and it's free. I mean, Mountain Crossings has their own rules saying things like you can't proselytize to the through hikers, but if you put materials out and they can take them themselves, that's okay. That sort of thing. And they have a little store there, and it's the first stop people make. I did a shakedown hike before this, so thinking of prep. I did a shakedown hike where you take all your gear and you decide, I'm not going to take this, I am going to take this. This wasn't as useful on the last 3 days, this is, and you start learning how to use new gear. When you get to Neal's Gap, for free, almost all of the employees of Mountain Crossings are successful former through hikers. And for free, they will take and empty your pack and tell you, you won't need this, you will need this, don't take this, you can get a lighter version of this. Stop packing your pack this way, it's going to be more ergonomical doing it this way. And it's great for free. They'll just do this for you. Of course,
Wow.
there's the catch of, if you do need something that you don't have, well, they have it available right here. So, it's,
Yeah.
and some hikers sort of think that that's why they do it, but it isn't. They really care about helping people. I had a very low pack weight already, 22 pounds, which is pretty good base weight.
Okay.
For someone who's not an ultra light person, like I'm not really an ultra light person, I like some of my things. And even then, I was able, through one of their shakedowns, because he kind of laughed at me. He's like, wait, it's 22 pounds. You really want a shakedown? I said, yeah, I'd like to hear your thoughts. Brought it down to 18 pounds. So,
That's something.
but that's a place that civilization happens. They have resupply. They've got food there that you can buy. I sent ahead a box. Some people do that where they send ahead a supply box via the postal service. It's waiting for you when you get there. And all you have to do is rip it open, pack your bag, take your trash out, and be on your way. The great thing was that because I had that box, I just filled it with the things I was sending home.
I was going to ask that. I'm wondering, you unpacked all this stuff.
Yeah.
What happened to it?
Yeah.
Wow.
4 pounds went home.
So where was this place on the trail again? I apologize.
This is in Neels Gap. It's in Georgia.
Okay, so it's right at the beginning of the trail.
Right at the beginning, 30 miles in.
Are there places like this throughout the trail that you can stop at?
There are a few places like this. As you progress, you start going through certain forests, national parks, that sort of thing. You'll go through road crossings. There's a town called Hiawassee, which I think is the next major town, if I'm remembering correctly, after Neels Gap. And that's like 10 miles in. You get off on the road, you throw up your thumb,
You hitchhike.
and you hitchhike in. And people pick you up. They see through hikers, they immediately pull over.
Really?
Through hikers, and they'll bring you into town. They'll say, do you want to go to the store first? Do you want to go to the shower first? Some people actually invite you home.
Really?
It's a crazy thing, and it
Wow.
makes you, by the time you finish the trail, these experiences of road crossings and kindnesses that are given to you, and meeting all the other people on the trail, by the time you're done, you have completely changed your worldview. If you are a cynical, jaded SOB, when you start the trail, unless you're doing it wrong, you are going to come out with this whole new attitude about people, about being kind, about caring for one another, and seeing that there is actually an essential goodness in this world. And that is a transformative experience that you just can't buy.
Tell me a bit about the people that you met on the trail. So you relied on the kindness of strangers.
Yeah.
Did you also have people that you were familiar with did you have a trek partner? Did you, or run into people on the way that you knew? Or just from following you a little bit, I know that you have a ton of pictures with people that I'm not familiar with. So I assume that you either met them on the trail or it's just outside of our realm of knowing each other.
No Borica kids.
Yeah, no Billerica kids. For those of you that don't know, both Jim and I were raised in Billerica, so we have that.
It's a wicked awesome town.
Yes,
Wicked awesome.
sure. Wicked
Wicked.
awesome. Wicked awesome.
I heard that slip. Yeah, I met some really cool people, some wicked cool people, in fact. When you start out at Amicalola Falls, you head up the stairway up through the waterfalls, which are gorgeous. Some reports say that it's the tallest waterfall east of the Mississippi, but Crabtree Falls, which also you hike by in Virginia, is actually the tallest.
Oh, so,
There's a dispute between the
What?
two state parks. It happens.
okay.
So when you head up the stairs, and there are stairs, hundreds of stairs to go up to get over the falls. And there are these little platforms overlooking the falls, and I stopped at the first one, realizing that I was already exhausted. And mind you, I had just come away from doing 800 miles on the Florida Trail. So the fact that I'm doing 800 miles on the Florida Trail, I should be somewhat in shape. And suddenly I'm hiking up these stairs and I can't do it. I'm huffing and I'm puffing and I sit down and I'm thinking to myself, what am I doing here? I can't believe I'm doing this. Why are there stairs? I hate stairs. and this guy comes and sits right next to me. I won't say what his situation was, but he did sit next to me. And he says, so are you hiking the Appalachian Trail? And I said, I don't know. I think I am. and he says, me too. My name's Jake. And I said, well, my trail name is Trek, but my real name is Yaakov. And he says, what do you want me to call you? I said, Trek. And we started talking. And he's from Buffalo. And told him I'm from Billerica. And he's like, where's Billerica? Famous question.
Yeah, don't they all?
18 miles northwest of Boston, just south of Lowell, 15 minutes from the New Hampshire border on Route 3.
Oh, wow. I do not get into that much detail when people ask me where
I am
Billerica
proud
is.
of this town.
Well, it's not that.
I'm not from Boston. I'm from Billerica.
Billerica.
That's right.
We're north of Boston. Well, northwest. of
Northwest.
Boston. See, that's as far as I go. I know. If you know where
18
Lowell
miles
and Burlington
northwest.
is, we're
That's right.
between.
So we ended up hiking all the way through the Smoky Mountains together, up into North Carolina, and we leapfrogged a little bit as well. And then he hiked ahead. At one point, I did a non-traditional through hike. When I got to Harper's Ferry, I flipped up to Maine, which means that I hiked north to Harper's Ferry, went to Maine, and then started hiking south, which means I reconnected where I was in Harper's Ferry. So
Interesting.
it was a north-south flip-flop through hike.
Huh.
I still did the same amount of miles everyone else did,
Right.
double in some places, because I saw friends and I said, oh, I'm going to do this part now. And, so that was interesting.
Is that common? Do people typically do that?
The
or-
flip-flop?
Yeah.
It's becoming more of a thing. It helps lessen the environmental impact in the trail of a lot of people going through at once.
Okay.
It also helps when you realize you're not going to get to Mount Katahdin by their deadline, which is usually mid-October. Second person I met at the 400-mile mark was Strider. He's from Tennessee. We ended up hiking over 1,000 miles together, including flipping to Maine together and hiking south.
Oh, wow.
Which that is a whole other story, how we got to Maine.
Yeah, the flipping, I don't think I understand this. This may be some through hike speak.
Yeah.
So flipping, so you started south to north and then switched.
That's right.
Where does this flip take place? How do you manage to flip? Do you have to
So-
actually do some traveling?
Yes.
Okay.
So traditionally, if there's a tradition, there's somewhat of a tradition. Harper's Ferry, which is the headquarters of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy, of which I'm a very proud member, they have a headquarters there, right on the trail, 0.4 off the trail, and because it's only 60 miles from the halfway point, people see it as sort of the psychological halfway point, or spiritual halfway point.
Okay.
It's like, I am coming to the headquarters of the whole Appalachian Trail. And you show up there and everyone's happy to see you. If you're coming in late in the summer and they know it, and they know that you are probably not going to make it to Maine in time, there'll be staff members who say, you should find a way to drive up to Maine and start hiking south back to the headquarters. And so we decided to do that. Water sources in Pennsylvania were dried up. Heading north would have been very hazardous in terms of making sure we stayed hydrated. It was already one of the hottest summers on record. Turns out it was, now that we've looked at the numbers. And it's only going to get worse with climate change. So they're really trying to promote this idea of a flip-flop, because by the fall, the water sources are back again. And so we were sitting at a computer, and we're looking at Greyhound, and we're trying to find out how to get from A to B. So I have a friend in Maine, in Augusta, Maine, who says, I'll drive down to Boston and pick you up, or drive down to Portsmouth, New Hampshire and pick you up if you can take the Greyhound to one of those cities. So we're looking at the Greyhound, $180 from Harper's Ferry to Boston or to Portsmouth, and we couldn't do it. And we were
Per person or for both?
per person. Wow. And so we're like, we can't do this, and we were really worried. And this woman, 60-year-old, in her 60s, comes up and says, hey, my name is Cup of Tea. That's her trail name, because every day, every day at 4 p.m., she would stop wherever she was in the trail, take out her camp stove, and make a cup of tea. That was her thing, every day. So her trail name's Cup of Tea.
That is delightful.
Isn't it delightful?
It's so cute.
She's from Florida, and actually originally from Buffalo, but now lives in Florida. And we didn't meet her on the trail. She had done 700 miles on her own, and decided, I want to see the headquarters. So she gets to the headquarters. She finds us talking, overhears us, and says, listen, I'm driving up to Hanover, New Hampshire, so I can do some trail magic for people I met on the trail very early on this spring. I'll bring you to Hanover, but first I want to hear your life stories. So we end up spending like 2 hours talking with one another. And by the end of it, she says, you know what, forget it. I am going to drive you guys all the way to Katahdin, to Baxter State Park. And I'll hang out with you all for a little bit.
What luck.
It was
That's-
serendipitous. And this was the kind of serendipity that happened over and over and over again in the trail. You're coming down off the trail and you're so super hungry and you're almost out of food. And you get to the parking lot where you are going to be trying to get a shuttle into town. And there's just someone waiting there with a bunch of food, says, hey, want a burger? After you eat, I'll bring you into town to get a resupply. Do you want to come right back to the trail? Do you need a place to stay tonight? You can stay at my house. It's like, I wasn't expecting that at all. And it's pouring out, and someone says, I'll hit you into town. Weird things like that happen all the time. It makes you start questioning, if you're an atheist, whether there's a God. Or if it's just the fact that the trail provides in its own way. So yeah, the flip-flop is becoming more of a popular way to through hike the Appalachian Trail, in part because it helps lessen the environmental impact, and it also helps hikers be able to get water sources and stay a little bit longer in the trail. One of the founders of the Appalachian Trail, Benton MacKaye, once was asked what the purpose of the AT was. And he said, the purpose of the Appalachian Trail is to see the trail and to see what you see. Here's a man in the 30s talking about mindfulness without using that word.
Yes, it's deep. It's deep. Tell me about something that surprised you on the trail, like something that you didn't expect to encounter that you did. I mean, you're talking a lot about spirituality and finding these people. I'm assuming that that was such a surprise.
It was. So that's a positive surprise, the serendipity.
Yeah.
I had heard about trail magic, but that was definitely a surprise.
So that's what you mean, because I heard you say that about the cup of tea woman that you met, the trail magic.
Serendipity became my new word, and I used it to refer to trail magic that kept happening. And trail magic is sort of an official term used in the AT community.
Just as the nice things that happen along the way?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Unexpected nice things.
Okay.
Like walking out into the road and there's a barbecue happening. So those were really nice surprises.
Wait, were you like crashing people's barbecues and
No,
stuff?
these are people who set up. These are people who, knowing that hiker season is happening, will say, you know what, I'm going to take 3 hours today and I'm going to go set up breakfast so that all the thru hikers who are coming through today are going to get breakfast, which I couldn't eat most of the time, but gluten issues.
Oh, yes.
But
yes, dietary
with the
issues.
celiac disease stuff. But you know, there was actually a negative thing that was surprising to me, and I don't know why I was surprised. And part of the reason that it surprised me is I always thought of the trail as sort of an open community. And I guess there's two sides to this coin, actually, that are one's surprising and one's heartening. The surprising thing was that I experienced overt homophobia and racism on the trail, and occasionally sexism as well.
Really?
And it wasn't common, it was very rare, but it was surprising nonetheless. It was more surprising seeing that it came from people of a younger generation than even I'm in. Wow. I'm 32, and to see 20-year-olds from all over having some of these attitudes really was surprising. More surprising and heartening. Not surprising in that I know how the trail community is. It tends to be very open-minded. But unlike in the regular world where people haven't been as courageous in speaking out when they hear things like that, sort of just shying away from it, not wanting to cause a scene, thru hikers will tell you exactly how they feel about your racist, sexist, misogynistic, homophobic bigotry, and you will become ostracized very quickly if you don't change your attitude. The thru hiker community has no tolerance for it. And you might find yourself in a little group of people who all agree with you, but you will not be tolerated with anyone else unless you are willing to start changing your attitude toward other people. And I liked that part.
So you said it was uncommon. But obviously, you were running into that.
Mm-hmm.
How was that happening? How were you running into it? Was it happening while you were
Every
hiking along?
15 miles, there are these shelters that are set up, these
Okay,
lean-tos.
yeah.
And so people gather, they congregate there to sleep at night. They'll set up their tents in the tent sites that are there. There are good water sources there, there's usually a privy.
So there would be comments and stuff being made during that?
Yeah,
or?
there were these 4 guys who were hiking, and they were at this place just outside of Irwin, Tennessee, at one of the shelters, and I happened upon them. I was exhausted and Feel Good. Jake, I mentioned earlier,
Yes.
his trail name was Feel Good. We got there early, and he was setting up, and I was making food. I was exhausted, and I wasn't having it. It's just one of those days. And I overheard, we're all sitting at the table, and I was wearing a hat that had a rainbow button on it because I wanted to make sure I'm always about awareness. So I wear a rainbow button most of the time in order to bring LGBTQ awareness to the world.
Which is nothing wrong with that.
Right. No one said anything about the button at first, but I overheard one of the guys around the table say, "Hey, did you see those 2 transgenders yesterday?" And of course, that immediately perked up my ears.
Right.
And the other one of the ones sitting across from him said, "No, did you kill them?" And I was so taken aback.
What?
I was so taken aback that Billerica Kid took over. And I was like,
It was like,
and I was like,
excuse me.
"What the F did you just say?" I was mad. I was so ticked off. And Feel Good kind of looked at me. He was like, "Oh no." Like, I don't know what's going on. And I said, "That's totally inappropriate. I can't believe I just heard that." And they sort of backtracked. "Oh, I was just joking. We're just alone here. We can joke about things." And I said, "Actually, if they had been here and they overheard that, they could feel very unsafe."
Right. Oh,
And-
they would.
Right. So for the rest of the night, I even felt unsafe. Feel Good and I had a conversation about it. The next shelter, the following day, I sat them down. And there were all these people around the campfire, and I decided I'm going to tell everyone stories about LGBT bullying, and I'm going to give you all a workshop. I have a captive audience. I'm basically giving you all a workshop on LGBTQ awareness, and you're going to listen because this is important. I later found out that they really did not like me for the rest of the hike. But at least
That's their problem.
it was.
Yes.
And there was actually a friend of mine I made on the trail, who said, he came back to me and he said, "Listen, I heard so-and-so mentioning," I won't mention their trail names, it's not important, but he said, "I heard so-and-so talking about this queer rabbi who was this, that, and the other thing, and how much he really wanted to deck him for what he said to him." And he seemed to think I was going to commiserate with him. And my friend looked at him and said, "You're talking about my rabbi, right?" So that felt pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to have people stand up for you.
It is. It does feel good.
And I'm glad to hear that wasn't all that
It was
common.
very rare. The sexism was more common.
Really?
Yeah, the idea that you would see a female through hiker and all the men would joke about something called pink blazing, which is following female through hikers to try to date them in some nefarious way. It was weird. I don't know. I don't understand. Probably because I'm gay. I don't really understand macho male culture at all, and I don't get it. And I certainly don't understand objectifying people. I think it's really weird. Certainly, they wouldn't do that to their mothers.
Oh, no.
So,
No.
Not that that should be why they don't, but whatever. It's a weird thing. And I know that we're in the throes of a societal change right now, and I know that we're going to be moving toward a better society.
We hope.
I hope. And we're going to get there, and I think we can see that people are standing up, and that's a good thing. I don't want to get political about it, but people are standing up for one another, and I'm actually appreciative of that. For all the things that I don't think are going right, that's one of the things I think is going really well right now. I saw that on the trail. That was the surprising thing, was seeing people stand up for one another. Even more surprising was coming home and not being jaded anymore and noticing people standing up for one another on trains, on buses, in the city. I like that.
Oh, that's such a good, a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
And especially if you're saying that you were jaded beforehand and then to kind of see the world open up to you.
I was feeling like that.
Yeah, it's such a good experience. All right, let's move on a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Let's talk about the terrain. I'm curious about that. How did the trail change as you went along? I mean, it's probably, you had to do that flip.
Mm-hmm.
How different was it?
So most of the southern Appalachians, which in the south are the Appalachians,
Okay.
there's sort of there are some switchbacks that go up the hills. They sort of look like a zigzag on the hill so that you can get up the mountains and the hills. Some of them are straight up and straight down, kind of rocky a little bit, but usually hikeable, obviously. Very forested, more deciduous forests than coniferous, and gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. The views are amazing. As you get further north, you start mixing in a little bit more of a coniferous feel. The first coniferous forest you really run into is in the Great Smoky Mountains because you're above a certain altitude where the conifers grow better. Once you get into Virginia, there's so many mountains. There are days when all you feel like you're doing is going up and down, up and down, up and down, and it's exhausting. Usually you can figure out like, okay, I'm doing 15 miles today, and that 15 miles I have 2 major ups, so I'm not going to go 20 miles today. I'm only going to do 15. If you only have 1 major up, you might go 20. The terrain when you get to Maine, though, is very wilderness. There's even a section called the 100-mile wilderness, where the conifers are everywhere, where you are constantly in the mountains going up and down mountains. There was one particular day, Strider and I were hiking. I think it was a 15-mile section where we had to go over 5 peaks.
Whoa.
So, and these are 3,000, 4,000 footers in Maine and New Hampshire. But then there were days where you're sort of on the ridge line, so you might be going from a 3,000 footer to a 4,000 footer, but it's like when you're in the south, just going up 1,000 feet. So there's some of that too. Pennsylvania was very rocky. It's known for that. Some people call it Rocksylvania, in fact. Vermont was very muddy. A nickname for Vermont in the trail is Vermud.
For mud?
It's very boggy. There's a lot of mountain bogs, which don't exist as commonly in other parts of the Appalachian Mountains. So yeah, the terrain is a lot of ups and downs. It's very forested, a lot of bears. I saw a lot of bears.
Really?
About 24.
Different kinds of bears or the same?
All black bears.
All black bears. Yeah. Did that frighten you? Like, how close did they get?
They usually run away from you.
Okay. I mean, they're more afraid of you than you are of them, right?
There was one bear that did get our peanut butter in Virginia while we were eating. We were listening to the NBC Nightly News.
Okay.
While we were overlooking this beautiful ridge, and we did something stupid. We left food out on our table. We weren't that far away from it, but our backs were turned to it, and we heard noise, and there was a bear.
So it didn't even take long for the bear to get the food?
Not at all. Had that peanut butter and was gone.
Now, if you had the peanut butter out and had closed it up and put it away, would it still have smelled it and come and looked for it?
They have a better nose than most hounds.
So they may have, the bear may
Thousands
have still
times better. Yeah.
have come looking for the peanut butter.
Yeah. So you have to hang your bear bag.
Oh my goodness. See, those are things I don't think about. Goodness. And that's scary.
They're okay. They're cute.
I guess they're not.
They're scary. They're scary when there's moms with their
with
cubs.
The cubs.
That's scary. There were some times in the Smokies, in the Shenandoahs, when we saw cubs and we ran in the opposite direction. We're like, nope, not having it. We're just going to hang out over here for the rest of the day until that cub is gone. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You don't want to come between a cub and its mom and bear.
No. Yeah. I've never been in that situation, thankfully. I don't know that I would want to be in that situation. What other kind of scary things did you run into?
Copperhead snakes. Rattlesnakes, timber rattlers.
You saw them up close.
Oh yeah.
See, I
there was
actually do like snakes. I'm afraid of the whole getting close to a bear that probably doesn't care, but I think snakes are cool.
Snakes are great. I like snakes.
Yeah.
But there were a few times we had to take our trekking poles and tap in front to get it to move because
They were in the way.
they were in the way on
Yeah.
the trail. And they sunbathe. That's what they like to do.
Right.
Everyone likes to sit in the sun. So.
Especially snakes, and
Especially
that's how they
snakes.
digest their food. But
It is.
this isn't about
And
snakes.
they weren't eating us though.
No, well, they're not interested.
They're not.
in
And
people.
The venomous snakes will only attack you if they feel threatened.
Right, or if you step on them by accident. I've heard that's usually where the accidents happen.
It's very uncommon to have a snake bite you on the AT.
Hmm.
Even a venomous snake. They don't really they don't want to be near you.
But you do see them.
You do see them. I saw a few.
Were you frightened by that?
Okay, there was one time I was hiking in front of Strider and I almost did a backflip. I saw one and I jumped so far back, I almost knocked into him and he's like, "What? What's going on?" I didn't realize that I had run behind him. It was like, oh, I'm never telling this story.
Oh, you just
I guess
did.
I just did. But yeah, it was a fun time.
Was it big? The snake?
I'm pleading the fifth.
On how big? It was a little snake.
It wasn't even a venomous snake.
It wasn't. What kind of snake was it?
It was a garter snake.
It was not.
And I know what garter snakes
They're
look
in our
like.
backyards
I
growing
love
up.
garter snakes. I know. It was just a garter snake. Yeah.
Oh.
But you see this thing, it's slithering, and you're just like freaked out.
Oh
You don't
yeah,
know. And
yeah. I think that's imprinted in us, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
sort of
Spiders aren't imprinted on me. I love spiders. So I would run into those. People would freak out about those in the shelters. And they'd see them, and I would just, wolf spiders, the size of God. And I would just go up there, and I'd put it onto my hand, and I'd take it out into the woods, and people, you can do that. Yeah,
Really?
they don't want you.
well, yeah, and they won't do anything. They're not going to bother
They're
you. But
cute
that
and they're
big,
fuzzy and
I
they're
don't think
friends.
I've ever seen
They
one.
eat mosquitoes.
Yep, snake. That's
And snakes.
Snakes do too.
They eat pests. They eat mice.
Mm-hmm.
Mice carry Lyme disease. Lyme disease gets carried on the ticks that the mice are carrying. This is a good thing. Snakes are good. Spiders are good.
Spiders are good. They do creep me out a little bit, but I don't.
I can help you get over that.
Okay, I don't kill them though.
You shouldn't.
I know. Well, if you're superstitious, if you kill a spider, it's supposed to rain.
See, I'm not superstitious, and I still believe that when
You
you kill a spider,
shouldn't.
you get 7 years bad luck.
Oh, yeah. See, I have heard that. I have
It's not
heard
a
that as
superstition,
well.
that's fact.
Is it?
Yeah.
7 years bad luck.
I know someone that happened to once.
Really?
And we know that anecdotal evidence is the only real evidence.
That is something. I don't know if it's true, but it's something.
I just said it was.
So if you say it's true, then it's
Obviously.
true. Okay. So I know, as your friend, that you have celiac disease.
Yeah.
How did you feed yourself on the trail?
With a spoon. I had to buy gluten-free oatmeal. My food was about twice as expensive as everyone else's. And that wasn't good. Gluten-free wraps, that sort of thing. Some of it I had to have shipped. I had a bunch of friends raise money for me. And that was so fantastic to have that sort of support.
And you had a website set up
I
for
did.
that.
I did. And people, it made it so much easier to buy food when I knew I needed it. I ate a lot. I ate a lot of rice ramen. And I'll tell you, if you ever want something delicious, get some ramen, rice ramen. Don't get, the schlocky ramen that's 50 cents and it's just full of wheat. But get some real ramen noodles and cook them up. Take 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, melt them into the hot water, put a shake of sriracha, a handful of honey roasted peanuts into it, mix it all together, and you have hiker pad thai, and it's delicious. I made that once or twice a week on the trail. It's really good.
Any other favorite meals that you would eat along the trail?
I know this is going to sound gross, but I did become partial to cheddar cheese, with Nutella and bananas.
Oh, that sounds disgusting.
It was really good.
That sounds so gross.
You got all your basic food groups: chocolate,
Cheese.
cheese. Yeah, I mean, look, when you're on the trail, you don't even care what you're eating at that point. I mean, you do. You do want good things,
Right.
but
But taste-wise, it's not.
taste-wise, it doesn't matter. You just want to be pounding calories. I mean, I ate between 5,000 and 7,000 calories a day
Oh, wow.
and burned about that much hiking.
Goodness.
I started the trail at 230 pounds, and when I finished the trail, I was 185. I'm back at 200. Danger, Will Robinson, do not keep eating the way you were eating on the trail when you stop on the It's not a good idea.
So what kind of toll did this take on your body? Did you feel good after the trek, or did it hurt?
Oh, it hurt. It hurt
I
so
was-
good, though, sometimes.
So good, hurt so good.
Yeah, you know, you get to that point where at the end of a great exercise session, you have those endorphins going, and you realize you're more mobile, and you realize you're more limber. You're able to do things you couldn't do before, and you feel better because you're losing a lot of body fat that doesn't need to be there. You know, most of us eat way too much food in the wrong quantities, in the wrong proportions. And on the trail, that's fine. You can do that.
Because you're burning
because
it all
you're burning it all
yeah,
off. But
you're
we
moving.
don't we don't do the correct amount of burning it off in the real world. And I'll tell you, if you really want a nice way to eat anything you want and still lose weight,
You have to work
hike
for
the
it.
Appalachian Trail. That's
Do a lot of work. You have to work for it.
yeah. It's a. I don't recommend it if you don't want to eat everything, though. I mean, I thought I'm not gonna eat junk food. I'm gonna eat only healthy things. Look, when I got into town, all I wanted was a 16-ounce steak. I wanted a huge cheese pizza. I wanted everything, and I could get. There were gluten-free pizzas around.
Oh, wow.
There's one place I ordered. I mean, I did eat a lot of veggie burgers, but there's one place, and I tried to keep kosher, and it didn't work. I was just so hungry. I remember getting into the Nantahala Outdoor Center in North Carolina, in Bryson City, North Carolina, and I ordered this huge burger, and I ordered a large gluten-free cheese pizza. Now, obviously not kosher, mixing these things together. But I took the burger and all the fixings. I said no bun. All the fixings, this huge burger, 16 ounce, threw it on the pizza, folded the pizza, and ate this whole thing in about 20 minutes. And I wanted more. and I downed 3 large sodas.
Wow.
I mean, it was intense, and everyone was doing it.
Everyone.
Everyone. We couldn't get enough food. You just.
Goodness.
I don't think people realize just how much of a struggle it is to keep 7,000 calories going.
No, I can't even imagine. So you must be starving, like so hungry. Not starving, but does your stomach just hurt?
It hurts sometimes.
Yeah.
You can get to the point where you're starving yourself and you're not realizing
That's why
it.
you got to keep up.
You have to keep up.
Wow.
You know, everyone has an opinion on how to do that. And my opinion is just eat. Eat everything, as long as it's something that isn't a problem for your body. Like, don't eat gluten if you can't eat gluten.
Right.
But eat everything. If someone offers you Trail Magic, just eat it. You're not trying to maintain a balance because you're going to burn it and your body needs it. Just don't make it all sugar.
Yeah. I assume the carbohydrates and sugar burn faster than
They do,
the other things
and then you need
too.
more.
Yeah. What do you miss most about being on the trail?
The camaraderie. It's actually getting me a little choked up.
That wasn't
I
my
know,
point.
I
It's
know.
very sweet though, and I do want to hear about it. So you're going to have to talk
I
about
know,
it. So compose yourself and tell me a little bit about that.
We, at the end of every night, look, in the real world, how often do you hang out with someone you call your best friend? 1, 2, 3 hours a week? Tops.
Maybe.
Sometimes a
Yeah.
little more, sometimes maybe you hang out with them every day for an hour. So maybe you do 7 hours a week. That's 28 hours a month. I was hanging out with people for 18 hours a day sometimes, sleeping next to them and doing it again the next day. And with Strider and Feelgood in particular, I was hiking with them. Sometimes we'd separate, we wanted our alone time, but you get to know someone so well when you hike with that group for so long that it feels like you're a family. And so at the end of the day, you're asking like, how was your day? And it's a purposed question. It's not like the normal small talk,
Niceties,
right? It's
yeah.
like, how was your day? Oh my gosh, you have no idea. I fell 3 times. My leg is this. I have no aspirin. Wait, okay, I have some aspirin, or whatever. People really care for one another. When things were happening back home for people, people would pool resources together to send people back home to deal with things that were going on, parents getting sick or siblings. People really cared for one another. And I met conservatives and I met liberals. I met Christians, I met Muslims, I met people who were black and white and brown and beige and every color in between, and gay and straight, bi, trans. I met people from all over the country, all over the world. I met people from Germany. I mean, where else can you have that experience where your differences don't matter? You have this common goal, and it's to get to that mountain and to have that experience with these other people. There's no way to describe that emotion. So I miss them a lot. I mean, I got really depressed after the trail.
Oh.
I wanted to call them and be on the phone with them for 7 hours a day. That's how I wanted it to go.
Well, with that being said, are you still in contact with them?
Oh yeah.
And these are people that you didn't know them before the trail. So you started this alone.
I started this alone. I didn't end it alone.
Assuming they did too.
And my last day was alone, but I didn't.
Oh.
It was definitely the birth of a family friendship with people. It's hard to describe it, but the best way I can say is, you spend 28 hours a month with your best friend if you're just seeing them every day for an hour. Well, I spent 28 hours with the same person in a day and a half. So you get to know people in a really deep way. And that's, I think, what I miss the most, is having that experience.
Do you have plans to meet up with them again?
Oh yeah. Strider and I are going to be making a trip this summer, and we're looking to see if any of the other friends we made are interested in going to Glacier.
So is this another trek?
No, this would just be a few days.
Just for vacation fun?
But we are already talking about the Pacific Crest Trail.
See, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah.
What is next? Like, after doing something like that, where do you go from here? What are you planning to do? Do you want to keep trekking?
Yeah, I do. I have to figure out how to make that work.
So no immediate plans for that?
No, though I think that I'm going to be doing the New England Trail sometime this summer.
Okay.
It's only 220 miles.
Right. Well, that's a lot, but when you think of the Appalachian Trail,
Exactly.
that's a walk in the park.
You suddenly have a perspective when you come home that everything is now in walking distance.
It's very true. It's very true.
You start getting a little upset with friends who didn't go on the hike. No offense to my friends who might watch this, who say things like, I'm in Nashua today. I can't come visit. It's, I don't want to drive out right now. You can't drive 15 minutes? All right. Whatever. I'll walk to you.
Yeah. Well, I walked.
That's right.
How long is it exactly? I know I could easily Google this.
2,189.1 miles.
See, I don't have to Google it when
That's
I know
right.
that you
Rabbi
can come
Google
up with
right
that.
here.
Yes, Rabbi Google.
That is the trail this last year. This coming year, it's now 2,189.6, I think I read.
Okay.
So it's 0.5 longer than it was last year. Plus, I did 800 miles on the Florida Trail.
Oh, that's right. Right beforehand, too,
Right
right?
beforehand.
Right beforehand. So you were already doing your hike. You were through hiking and then went right to Appalachian Trail.
Yeah.
Goodness. It must feel, I don't know, you had mentioned you had a little bit of depression after coming home. Yeah, it's got to be so strange coming back to the, I
Yeah.
guess you could say, the real world. Are you still, because this wasn't that long ago.
No, I came back in November.
Yeah, so you've been home since November. Are you still adjusting to
Yeah.
regular?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
am still adjusting. Part of that is throwing myself immediately into things that I've always enjoyed. Starting a new production here at BATV. Combining my love of BATV with the trail, I'm thinking a documentary might be in the works.
See, I think that would be amazing. I'd love to see that come through.
And I have to say that at the end of the trail, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy recognizes anyone who's completed the trail. They don't distinguish between a through hiker and someone who took several years to do it. But as soon as you hit the 2,000 miler status, they give you a patch and a certificate, which is really cool. And I'll put that on my backpack one of these days, or maybe a hiking vest or something. And there's a guy on the trail who through hiked a few years ago. His name is Odie, and he started a project 3 years ago called the Hiker Yearbook. And this guy's great. He even signed it.
Oh.
And that's him. But it's such a great thing because everyone who was able to stopped, gave him a picture, sent in a picture, and you can stay in touch with everyone you've met on the trail. Someone you saw for one day, and you're like, I want to have that conversation with them again. All their contact information is in the back, and he produces this on his own. This is his own project that he
wow.
does. This is the third one, I think. 2014, I think, is the first one.
So will you be in one of those?
I'm in this.
You're in that
I'm
one?
in this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And he also puts the summit photos from Katahdin in there as well.
Oh, wow.
That's
So
really cool.
you have that in there.
That's in there.
That's
yeah.
like such a nice little keepsake.
It
I mean,
is.
the badge is nice, the certificate
Yeah.
is nice, but that,
This is the family album. It really
Yeah.
says Hiker Family Album of 2016.
that's
And it feels like that.
one last question, because we are running out of time.
Yeah.
You could just keep going.
I could for ages.
Oh my goodness! Maybe we'll
I
have
have a
to
lot
do
of
another
sermons.
show, or you have to do a show. You got to talk
have
about
to.
this. I'd love you to bring up that promote your sermons. You're going to
Yeah.
be doing sermons at
First Parish Unitarian Universalist Church.
When's your next one?
Actually, I'm in the pulpit this coming Sunday, which is February 12th. So you probably will be producing this after that. And I'm also in the pulpit that evening at 6:30. And but the next service after that is March 12th, sorry. The title of that service is Spring Forward. And I tie in a lot of my spiritual development from the trail into my services. I think those are very important. I have a lot more sermons in the pipeline. The ironworks, the pipeline, whatever, in the works for nature spirituality. I do a lot of speaking on that. So if an organization wants to have me come and speak, they can go to my website and they can get in contact with me. I'm happy to speak to just about anyone.
Well, that's great. I want to thank you again for coming in and doing this interview. One more time, can you give us that website?
Yeah, it's www.trekreef, .com. Yeah.
So definitely check out that blog. And I want to thank you for viewing. This has been an interview with Yakov Reef, or Trek is trail name. Again, thanks for watching, and please continue to watch BATV. We have plenty of interesting pieces to watch. Check us out on our website, batvinc.org. We have a video on demand feature, as well as we're on archive.org, and you can check out all the wonderful videos that are airing on our channels. Please check us out. Thank you for watching.